Hi, welcome to a new vlog. It is currently Friday and it is the final Friday in January, which means that there are only 5 days left in Januwrimo. If you haven't heard of Januwrimo before, it is basically a non-sanctioned version of Januwrimo hosted by Katie Ann. All of the links will be below in case you want to join next year. But I'm participating with a goal of 20,000 words for January, and right now I am at 14,000, which I think is about 3,000 behind where I should be at the minute. And the main reason for that is that I was ill for basically an entire week in January, and I've been struggling to catch up on myself for the entire month since. But since I have a total of 6,000 words left to do, and the challenge ends on a Tuesday, I thought it would be fun to have a 5k weekend, and then I can write 500 words on Monday and Tuesday and finish it up. And of course I'm vlogging it because what else am I gonna do? I love vlogging. Right now it is 8:30 on Friday. I am co-hosting for Michael's stream at the minute, and I have a grand total of 3 25-minute sprints to catch up on some words for today. I did write in the morning before work. I got about 600 words in, but that's not enough because right now I'm supposed to be getting 1,500 per day. So we're gonna do a little bit more writing this evening and then a whole bunch of more writing over the weekend. I wrote 401 words, which brings my total for the day to 1,416 words, and my total for the month to 14,793.
Nice!
Oh.
Hello. Despite the illusion that this may be my first drink of the day, it is actually 4 p.m. at the minute. So much for my 5k weekend. I was feeling very tired this morning and a little bit under the weather and just generally really not feeling up to being on camera to start with, but also writing. And this year I am trying very hard to listen to my body more and not do things that will make me feel worse and burn me out. So if my body's telling me that writing is not going to happen on Saturday morning, then writing is not happening on Saturday morning, no matter how much I might want to. Instead, I spend the morning playing Stardew Valley and reading. I am currently reading Mistborn for Violet's Nostalgia Train book club. I am supposed to be the co-conductor, and I forgot that I signed up to that until Violet announced it on social media, and now I gotta read the book. So we're reading the book. I only started this morning. I'm actually really enjoying it. It's very good, but more thoughts on that on Violet's channel in a month. As for the topic of this video, I don't know if a 5k weekend is feasible anymore. It might still be doable. I don't think it's completely impossible, but I also don't want to burn myself out because I do have to go to work on Monday. So I am just going to try my best. I would like to get to 5k, but I think instead of thinking of it as the word count goal, I am going to break it down into chapters instead. And yesterday I was working on chapter 12 during Michael's stream, which I haven't quite finished yet. So I think if I can finish chapter 12, 13 and 14, that should get me to the word count I need. So I'm just going to focus on getting through the chapters and keep track of my word count sort of like as a thing on the side. And my goal for today is just gonna be finishing chapter 12, which I got really into it yesterday. I haven't been writing in the evenings because I've been getting up at 6 a.m. to write in the morning because my boyfriend has a new job and he's getting up at 6 a.m. for that. And that's been really working very well for me. But during streams and stuff, I have been trying to write in the evenings, and yesterday I think it's just like a chapter that I really liked and that I was very excited to write, but I got very excited about it and I wrote way more than I thought I was going to be able to. And I'm hoping, since it's the same chapter, even though we've gotten to the second half of the chapter, which I'm less sure on how to handle than the first half, But I'm hoping I'm still gonna enjoy it a lot because that's just a very fun chapter for me. Less excited about chapter 13 because that's from the new point of view that's new to the sequel but wasn't part of book 1, and I'm also enjoying that point of view, but it's difficult for me to write in, so that might set me back a little bit. And then the chapter after that is from Thread's point of view, so that's fine, but I don't know what happens in it. I just know that I need it there for pacing reasons. So that's gonna be the hardest one, but we'll cross that hurdle when we get to it. Hiya, happy Sunday. It is actually Sunday morning today. It is just before 10 a.m. Yesterday, I really didn't get that far. I managed to do about 600 words of actual writing, and then I did a bit of brainstorming on both chapters 13 and 14. And then after I finished brainstorming and I was doing something else and sort of done for the day, I actually realized that I think I can make this chapter a lot better than chapter 12, the one that I finished writing yesterday, and I would kind of like to rewrite it from scratch. And this is also going to affect not chapter 13, because it's from a different part of the story, but it will affect chapter 14, which I'd already finished brainstorming. But I think it's fine. What I'm basically doing is changing the POV between those two chapters and trying to make a character that I think I overpowered slightly in chapter 12 a lot less overpowered, which I can do a lot easier. The reason I ended up overpowering this person was because I wrote from their point of view, which was very difficult to do without overpowering them. So I think if I switch it and write from someone else's point of view who's watching this person, it'll be a lot easier to get this chapter to what I had in mind originally. So I am going to write it again from scratch today, but I already know what's supposed to happen, so it should be a lot faster to write it. And I am going to count the words that I wrote the first time round because I still wrote them, so they're staying in my tracker. So at the minute, I'm actually sitting at 15,389 words for January, and I wanted to get to 19,000 by the end of the weekend, which means that I gotta write 3,600 today, which is a lot, but I think rewriting chapter 12 won't take me that long because I already know exactly what needs to happen, and I have already brainstormed chapter 13. Chapter 14 is gonna need to be brainstormed again from scratch, but we'll get there when we get there. But it is 10 a.m, so we're starting nice and early. I already have my cup of jasmine tea, so I am going to go and write as many words as I can, and I'll keep you updated. I've just finished chapter 12, and I was going to reward myself with going on a nice walk afterwards, but I think it started raining, so we're not gonna do that. Instead, I'm just gonna do a workout at home and just have lunch and have a bit of a break and then get back into it. Chapter 12 ended up being just over 1,500 words, so I've got 2,000 words left to write today, and I've got the afternoon and evening to do that. I think we should be fine as long as I don't run out of energy. It is currently 12 and I started writing just after 10, which means it took me 2 hours to write that chapter. But if I look at my time tracking stats, where I'm starting and pausing the timer every time I stop writing for whatever reason, I've only written for just over an hour in the last 2 hours, but I genuinely don't think I've done anything else. I got up to make a cup of tea at one point, and I've also stopped to talk to my boyfriend a couple of times, but I'm sure that wasn't an hour, so I don't know where I've just lost an hour. I promise I wasn't even on Instagram, I think. I'm pretty sure I wasn't on Instagram. But for now, I am just gonna go and have my workout, have some lunch, maybe play some Stardew Valley because I might be slightly addicted, and then we're gonna get back to work, and we are writing another 2,000 words today. Let's do this. It is just after 5 p.m. and I have finished chapter 13, and it was, I don't know how many words it was. It was 1,590 words total for chapter 13, plus the 1,554 words that I wrote in chapter 12, which means I've written a total of 3,144 words today, which in terms of my 5k weekend means that I'm still missing 400 words, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't care. I am still going to go all in and try and win Januwrimo, but I currently have just over 1,400 words left to reach my 20,000 word goal for the month, and I have 2 days to do that. Admittedly, they are work days, so I can't write as much as I did today, but I think 700 words should be feasible per day, just about. And I really don't want to start another chapter right now, so I am going to go and play Stardew Valley for the rest of the evening. Happy 31st of January. It is officially the final day of Januwrimo, and I won. I gotta say, I very nearly didn't. This morning, my alarm went off at 6 a.m. and I was just this close to just throwing the phone across the room and going back to bed. I did not want to do any writing this morning. And I reckon if it wasn't the last day in January, I probably would have stayed in bed. But it was my last chance to win this challenge that I've been working on for the entire month, and I was so close. I didn't want to give up just because I was feeling tired. So I did in fact get out of bed this morning. I got out of bed on Monday as well. I wrote 793 words on Monday and 788 words this morning. Now, especially the words this morning, I feel like half of them maybe, like the first half was okay because I knew where it was going. Afterwards, I got to a point where really I should have stopped to brainstorm, but I didn't have very long before I had to log into work again, and I was so done with being awake. So I just wrote down whatever came to mind first, and let me tell you, what came to mind first is not the best solution to this chapter, so I'm gonna have to rewrite that bit. But we did manage it. I'm just gonna show you some of my stats on the screen in case you wanna peek at them real quick. I wrote a total of 2,114 words. My highest word count goal was 3,144, which was on Sunday. I had a total of 10 zero word count days, which means that across the 21 days that I did write, I averaged about 1,000 words per day. In a surprising turn of events, I am actually really enjoying keeping track of my word count. I don't like it when I get too caught up in it and don't think of quality words and just think of words, but I think having this much lower word count than the 50,000 that you would do for a normal nano really worked very well for me because it wasn't overwhelming, so I was still enjoying the process, but I like looking at stats. So I am actually tempted to just copy this Excel sheet for myself and keep doing it in February. I don't know that I'll be looking at word count so much when I'm drafting a neater draft, but for fast drafting, I think it works more or less well for me, so I'm gonna keep doing it. The other interesting statistic that I have for you is my time tracking stats. I wrote for a total of 20 hours and 50 minutes, which is pretty cool because I wrote 20,000 words, so that means it's about 1,000 words per hour. Admittedly, that's probably quite low for most people, and also a lot of those words didn't make it into the final draft. I did count chapters that I wrote and then decided to scratch and start again, so the actual progress in the draft is a lot less than 20,000 words, but I think 1,000 words per hour is a pretty neat pace, especially considering I'm also time tracking the time when I'm brainstorming and I'm not just writing, so I'm very pleased with that. And the final thing is I wrote chapters 7 to 14, so 7 chapters total, which is not a lot, to be honest, but it's fine. So we're technically a little bit behind where I wanted to be at the end of the month, but I am still very happy with how far I've gotten, and I really enjoyed this event. If you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed to Katie Ann Writes, because she organized this event and she might be doing it next year if enough people are interested. And if you participate in Januwrimo this year, feel free to let me know how it went, because I would love to know. I hope that you're having a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye.